Okay, so MSNBC decided to get into this one here. And before I get started, please, if I sound a little disrespectful or rude, please forgive me here on this one. There's only so much dishonesty, ignorance, and outright stupidity one can take before, it starts to get a little bit annoying. And this title of this article says it all. Rand Paul's bold stand for armor-piercing bullets. Okay, so Steve Bannon starts out this article. The very first line he states is to claim that Rand Paul is spinning up wild conspiracy theories. Well, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Bannon. You work for MSNBC. You don't have any room to accuse anybody of spinning conspiracy theories. It's like a pot calling a kettle black. I mean, you want to go over some of the fear-mongering, dishonesty, and outright lies that MSNBC has been telling over the years, and still tells sometimes after that it's proven. We can go into that, but this article right here alone is enough to catch you on how wrong you are and should give you pause. Alright, so Steve decides to go on in the second paragraph and mention the opposition to the arms trade treaty by Paul. Okay, so for anybody who's been paying attention to the arms trade treaty debate and how it's evolved over the years, in the text of the arms trade treaty, well, let's just put it that way. It's not something that should be taken lightly if you care to have the private possession of firearms remain a legal ability. Just saying. In fact, if you look at some of the people that supported the arms trade treaty, groups such as IANSA, by the way, IANSA is an umbrella organization for several gun control groups worldwide. And one of their former directors, Rebecca Peters, was very much so pro-handgun ban, pro-semi-auto ban, pro-pump action ban, pro-lever action ban, against owning a firearm that could fire over 100 meters, pro-needs-based licensing, and self-defense wasn't a need, pro-registration, and all around pro-reducing the numbers of civilian-owned firearms. This is a person who said she knows she's not going to get an outright ban, but she wants to reduce the number of firearms. So it sounds like, that's her goal, is an outright ban, but she knows she's not going to get it. But enough on the arms trade treaty on this one. This isn't what this article's about, and this is not what I'm going to be responding to mainly. Although I do like the last line in that paragraph. Paul's 2013 fact-free letter. Well, again, Steve, let me remind you who you work for. MSNBC. No room to call anybody fact-free. Hell, even with this little bit you wrote here, you don't have any room to call anybody fact-free. And I'll get to that a little later in this video on why. Okay, so the meat and potatoes of what's being discussed is the M855, and you go down about the fourth paragraph, and I quote, in 2015 the Obama administration is considering a proposal to ban armor-piercing green-tip bullets. Okay, first off, they're not armor-piercing rounds, and in fact, let's get into what an armor-piercing round is. Okay, so as you can see in this picture, there are two different types of 5.56s. On the left is the M995, and on the right is the M855. You see from the cutaways of these rounds, well, the M995 has an entirely different core than the M885. As you can see, the M995 has a tungsten core. The M885 has a lead core. So already we can see that even though the bullets look the same from the outside, with the exception of the color of their tips, they are composed in very different fashions on the inside, which is what determines the round's capabilities. Now, the big concern about the M885 is that it will punch through soft body armor. Well, while that might seem scary to some who don't know about firearms and don't know about basic ballistics, it's really not all that big of an issue. Because you see, both of these cartridges are rifle cartridges. They're both 5.56s. They'll both punch through soft body armor. In fact, all 5.56s will punch through soft body armor. And in fact, there is hardly a rifle round that won't punch through soft body armor. In fact, soft body armor is not even designed to stop rifle rounds. And even then, there are different types of soft body armor, different degrees of protection. There are some types of soft body armor that a simple 9mm will go through. You know, it's just the fact that soft body armor is not rated for rifles. The different degrees of protection are, different degrees of protection that it's rated for when it comes to pistols. That's primarily what soft body armor is designed to stop. For those of you who don't understand, I'm going to try to put it in more layman's terms. Terms to what I think more people can understand, right? Even you MSNBC viewers. Okay, so you have an oven mitt. Now that oven mitt will protect your hand from the heat when you're taking whatever you're baking out of the oven, right? We understand that oven mitt protects you from heat. To take it a step further, that oven mitt will only protect you from a certain degree of heat. So while you can use that oven mitt to take your baked goods out of the oven, when you go to, say, a lead smelter, an oven mitt might not be the best thing to use. In fact, it doesn't have the degree of protection that you'll need for maybe some stuff in a lead smelter. Alright, we follow. It's not that the oven mitt is bad, it's not that the oven mitt doesn't do its job. It's just you're simply using the oven mitt to protect you against something it's not rated to protect you against, much like soft body armor. Now, there is body armor out there that's designed to protect you from the 5.56 in most circumstances, such as when that 5.56 is an M855 round. That type of body armor requires plates, and those plates are very expensive and they're very heavy. Now, the M995 will still go through that body armor because it's armor-piercing ammo. It's designed to pierce through armor that is supposed to be rated for the 5.56. So we can kind of understand the concept of what real armor-piercing ammunition is now, right? Okay, so moving on, we're going to skip past Ron Paul is on the case, the letter, and all this other stuff right here. We're going to come down to the policy debates and pretty much this last statement by Steve, quoting the White House press secretary. And notice with this one, he doesn't do any research on what armor-piercing ammunition is. We've already determined that. And without a bat in an eye, he quotes the press secretary verbatim, claiming that he made a straightforward case. Remember how I said this, that Steve, that you don't have any business accusing anybody being fact-free? Well, you just got showed up wrong. But I want to continue to read this statement. We are looking for additional ways to protect our brave men and women in law enforcement and believe that this process is valuable for that reason alone. Okay, stop you there. If protecting our officers of law enforcement was so important, why did this administration pander to violent mobs that were chanting "death to the police" after Ferguson? Why did this administration have absolutely nothing to say about what the mobs did then? Why is it that this administration, every time some criminal who gets shot that happens to be black, why is it that this administration comes in and goes to bat for that criminal? I mean, if they were really concerned about taking and saving law enforcement lives, why don't they back law enforcement and what law enforcement actually says? Anyway, continuing on. This seems to be an area where everyone should agree that if there are armor-piercing bullets available that can fit into easily concealable weapons, that puts our law enforcement officers at considerably more risk. Okay, let's discuss concealable weapons now. Originally when I made this chart, I was planning to go from the largest type of pistol down, but I think it's better if I just start with the smallest type of pistol and work my way up. I think it'll be better that way. Okay, so your first class of pistol based on its size is the pocket pistol. Very low stopping power. Good for concealed carry if you're a stripper and an expert marksman, but other than that, I would not recommend it. Okay, next class is the subcompact pistol class. Now, this is probably the most popular pistol class for concealed carry. It's especially suitable when you have less clothes on. It doesn't quite have as much stopping power as the rest, but it still has more stopping power than the pocket pistol. So, I'd definitely take a subcompact over a pocket pistol. Now, moving up, compact pistol. Good for concealed carry, excellent balance between small size and stopping power. You've got probably the balance right there between concealability and stopping power for most situations where you need a pistol for self-defense. Moving on, you've got the mid-size pistol. It's better for concealed carry than the full-size pistol, but yet still large enough that it can be considered for a suitable service sidearm, say if you're a police officer, or say if the army you're in uses that particular pistol as its sidearm. Moving on from that is the full size, or the tactical pistol, or the competition grade pistol. Again, excellent service sidearm, good for home defense, good for vehicle carry, good for fun at the range, good, for competition shooters. It's tough to conceal carry though. It's going to present a little bit more challenges there. Okay. So, moving on, you've got your Magnum size pistols. And by the way, on Magnum size pistols, I know there's a 357 Magnum, which most of the revolvers that handle the 357 Magnum are generally going to be more full-sized or whatnot than they are going to be like the Magnum size I'm talking about. However, there are a few that are Magnum sized, as I call them. But Magnum sized pistols, perfect for big game hunting or the Dirty Harry fans. You're not concealing carrying this one, no. Sorry, guys. And then finally, the largest class of pistols, and these are the pistols that are based off the rifle designs. Good fun at the range, good for home defense, real cool looking. Indeed, real cool looking, real cool to show off to your buddies. You know, that much is true. However, you're not concealing it. Sorry, you are not concealing it at all. You know, in fact, let me give you a demonstration. I'm going to compare the size of a Beretta M9, which is a full-size pistol, and the size of the AR-15 pistol, which is the pistol based off the rifle, right? So they were the shortest barrel. It's almost 8 inches on the AR-15 pistol, whereas it's 5 inches on the M9. Now, barrel size alone at 3 inches may not seem like too much of a difference to the average person, which, I mean, when you're talking about concealed carry, yeah, a little 3 inches you could shave off of it. You know, it makes a big difference. But not only that, look at how the pistol's set up. In the M9, you've got the magazine well, the pistol and the grip, as well as the gas block. Well, not necessarily the gas block, but the actual bolt system and all that, all in one area. Whereas in the AR-15 pistol, you've got the mag well up in front, then you've got the trigger well, then you've got the pistol, then you've got the buffer tube and buffer springs, which the buffer spring on the M9 is just below the barrel. So again, you can see how you're not just going to put that AR-15 under your sports jacket and go. Right. And the press secretary goes on to say, so I'd put this in a category of common sense steps that the government can take. Okay, I'm stopping this. Okay, first off, if you're a Democrat or a leftist, don't use the word common sense anymore. It doesn't apply to you. You have no business using that word because you have no common sense. All right, but anyway, so to continue on, common sense steps the government can take to protect the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding Americans while still, okay, you're not protecting any Second Amendment rights. In fact, you're infringing on them with that bill. So don't claim you're protecting them. What have you done to protect them? Okay, but while still making sure our law enforcement officers that are walking the beat every day can do their jobs just a little bit more safely. Okay, when was the last time an M855 was ever used in a crime? Please, if any of you MSNBC viewers or any other leftists that are for this ban, or anybody else in general who are for this ban on the M855, can point out an incident where the M855 was used in a crime, please let me know. I'm dying to know. The fact of the matter is that the 5.56 is not a hit among criminals. Neither are the AR-15 type pistols. In fact, if you look at the BATFE's top 10 guns used in crime, you'll find that none of them match it. And you know what? I'm actually going to show you one from 2000. I know I don't have anyone here more recent, but this is going to show you the type of pistols that criminals like to use in their crimes. What do you know? All but one of them is a pistol. And moreover, if you look at the pistols, let's see. You have maybe one full size, one mid size, and the rest are subcompact pocket pistols. Imagine that. When criminals are looking for concealable firearms, they mean concealable firearms. And that AR-15 pistol is not a concealable firearm. And the Mossberg 500 is a real common and cheap shotgun anyway. And there would be a few advantages to why criminals pick that one. But for the most part, it's just
anywhere from subcompact to pocket pistols. Okay, and the comments here are just hilarious. I mean, you know, it's just funny. How many idiots, how many Kool-Aid drinkers believe what this idiot has to say? Well, let's take from Zora Renee. And that's where the press secretary is giving these GOTP, I guess she means GOP critters, way more credit than they deserve. You know, and you wonder why we're saying, well, hell, you know, we are opposing this because there's a slippery slope, you know? Yeah. Okay. You know, moving on to the next comment. This guy's another moron. Well, to be fair now, you never know when you're going to be walking in a parking lot and you're going to run, do some grocery shopping, and here comes that Sherman tank right away. Yeah. Okay, apparently this retard doesn't know a few things. First off, an M855 ball isn't going to penetrate a Sherman tank. And second, most of us who are opposed to this ban, well, pretty much all of us who are opposed to this ban, don't think a Sherman tank's going to come right at us either. But again, some people here just lack the brain that God gave a dead weasel. And this guy has absolutely no idea what we use our guns for. Yeah, normally if we break our legs, we call an ambulance. Now we might improvise something for a splint, but generally if you break your leg, you don't want to move until you get the leg stabilized, or, you know, wait there for the paramedics to transport you to the hospital. Either that, or, you know, have your friend drive you to the hospital. Too easy. Too far away from your lamp to turn us off? Yeah, because we're totally going to shoot our lamp with a .22, don't you know? Okay. In all fairness, I'll give you that maybe liberal bully Ray. You might do that. And mowing teenagers down in public places. Again, the last person I'd known to do that, whose political stripe was known, was a Democrat. Nothing says freedom like making cops bulletproof vests unbulletproof. Apparently this retard doesn't understand the concept of body armor. I hope this person is watching the video. And by the way, I shouldn't have used the word retard. I know mentally challenged people do not deserve to be compared to this guy, George Martin. I'm sorry, mentally challenged people. But hopefully George Martin would see this video and listen to it and kind of understand the difference. But something tells me that he doesn't have the neurons to figure it out. Next comment's great. Why would you need armor-piercing bullets to go hunting? What are these guys hunting? Armadillos? Well, I'm not going to avoid sounding cliche on this one, but after all, the Second Amendment was not about hunting. But needless to say, I think I've covered in this video already, and I think it's very well established, unless of course you're an MSNBC viewer and you really don't pay attention to anybody who actually knows about this sort of stuff. You only listen to what Rachel Maddow and those types feed you as your opinion. You know, because you don't have your own opinion. You would understand that the M855 is not an armor-piercing round. And by the way, the M855 is an excellent hunting round. You can hunt anything from varmint to deer with it. It's also a good home protection round. It's also a good target round. You see, unlike most MSNBC viewers, most AR-15 owners do have a basic understanding of economics. See, the M855 is an affordable round that you can buy in bulk. So when you really like to go to the range and shoot some, you don't like to pay a bunch, but you want to know you have enough ammo, the M855 is a good choice. You gotta love this next one from Ruth Truth. Actually, you know, I don't know what you should call yourself, but you should leave Truth out of your name. Maybe Fat Ruth. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to compare fat people to this stupid bitch. Okay. But she goes on to say, I assume it's a she anyway, well, technically the Second Amendment doesn't mention bullets. It says the right to bear arms. Well, technically, a bullet is part of that mechanism in your arms. You know, it's kind of useless to have a rifle without a round or without ammo, right? But all that aside, why did John Q. Public need armor-piercing bullets? Aren't the bullets available adequate enough to kill whatever? Okay, first off, Ruth, as I've already established, the M855 is not an armor-piercing round. But keep letting leftist media such as MSLSD force feed you your opinion. And the next person, Racer Doc, these bullets mushroom when they hit a human. But I do like that when you admit they hold no purpose other than to maim or to kill human. Why do you need that again? To be a more effective shot? Okay, again, something that's placed as a right is not dependent on your needs. In fact, in a free society that protects your basic fundamental rights, the government has to have a need to put the restriction on. And it's not proven its need yet. You know, the government has to prove that that restriction is effective and needed. And it's done neither. And I shouldn't say the government because it's not the government, it's certain leftists within the government and certain leftists throughout the country. I'm not even gonna go into responding to the rest of the stupid comment. Then there's one here. Something worked. The ATF just stopped to ban green tips today. Maybe it was because enough people wrote in. You know, maybe enough people with common sense told the ATF, hey, you know, look, you guys know better than this. And enough agents came forward and said, hey, look, this is really a stupid idea. These aren't armor-piercing ammunition. I don't know if this is a true statement or not, but if it is, good on the BATFE. Love you for it. I'm going to have to actually check into that now. And then this final one, Democrat Viners. You know, Rand Paul says he's offended by marriage equality. When did he say that, idiot? That's Racer Doc again. God, this guy's proven to be a moron. Well, I'm offended that he's pandering to gun nuts who want killing bullets at all costs to our society. Okay, well, first off, he's sticking up for firearms enthusiasts. He's not letting idiots like you bully him around and try to ram your own agenda down our throats. That's what he's doing. He's listening to his constituents, a lot of whom believe in the Second Amendment and to believe that people should be allowed to own firearms. You know? And cop killing bullets, that's a loaded term, dude. I want you to name one cop an M855 is killed. Jesus. And he goes down there. Did he use a cop killing bullet to kill that thing on his head that's supposed to be a husk of hair? And people wonder why I have no problem saying it's pretty nasty thanks to Democrats. You know? Especially this one. I don't know. I mean, you know, the way he's talking, he sounds like Rachel Maddow has a bigger dick than he does. But again, this is what you get when you have morons that listen to MSNBC to get their information. Alright, I'm out of here. Hopefully you've watched all the way through. And please rate. Please give me your feedback. I am dying to hear it. Y'all think I'm such a bad guy, well, go ahead, thumb down the video. Y'all think what I'm saying is wrong, go ahead, thumb down the video. You know, and hell, leave a comment. Tell me exactly where I'm wrong. All you people that believe the EM855 is an armor-piercing round, go ahead and explain how I'm wrong. All right, y'all take her easy.